What's going on, everyone? So, when it comes to Scream, Ghostface is the most important element, right? Without Ghostface, you don't have a Scream. And the big element of the Whodunit mystery has been kind of a big draw in the Scream franchise, right? You want the big reveal, you want Ghostface to be intense, and you want some awesome, epic, memorable kills. And then you want the Whodunit. Is it this person? Is it that person? Is it this person over there? But something that I've talked about in the past is like, you know, if you've watched a handful of slasher films, particularly Scream, if you've watched 2 or 3 of these movies, you can almost deduce who is the killer just by simple process of elimination, right? Proper analysis could get you to an idea, because you know right off the bat there's going to be at least 2, maybe 3 killers, right? At least 2, just based on the history of Scream. Now, obviously, Scream 3 had 1 killer, but outside of that, it's always been 2 or more, right? Outside of one outlier movie, and you still could make an argument. I mean, that movie doesn't make sense unless there's another killer. But I've broken that down enough. I want to stay on track here before I go on a Scream 3 rant. But, the whodunit element is very important, but is it like everything, right? Is like knowing who the killer is so important, right? Is it like, is that mystery the difference between making or breaking the film? And the reason I ask this is because, you look at this upcoming Scream movie, and we are starting to get more and more, like, there's a bunch of casting calls for various characters and stuff like that. We just got a new deputy that was added on. But outside of, like, the casting calls, which are all, like, small parts, it's like a grandma to Mark Evans, right? Like, and then Sydney's 2 youngest children. They're all going to be in the movie for like 30 seconds. They're probably not going to die, and they're probably not going to be the killer. They're probably going to be in the movie, like I said, 30 seconds, and that's it. And then, you have kind of like, like a director and all the, like, these little, like, throwaway characters, which again, it's like the janitor. Like, the random janitor is not going to be the killer, right? So you look at the Scream movie, and there's really, like, I mean, total, there's 11, 12 characters, right? But the Meeks twins are probably not going to be the killer. You have Sydney and Gail, and Sydney's husband, who's probably not going to be the killer. Sydney's daughter, who's probably not going to be the killer. So it really, like, boils down to, like, 5, 6 characters in this film. If there's 2 or 3 of them, well, then guess what? You have, like, a 33% chance of getting at least one right, like, and you probably have like a 60% chance of getting, or 60% of getting one right, 33% chance of getting both right, was my point, right? Because that's my thing. Like, is it the make or break, right? Because every Scream movie, you only get like a handful of new characters that could possibly be Ghostface, and more likely than not, 1 or 2 of them probably die pretty quickly, right? Like, think of like Vince, for example. Like, they hyped up Vince like he was the second coming of Billy Loomis, and then he had like 30 seconds of screen time. Literally. So to me, it's like, can you, with such a small, tight cast, which me personally, I am fine with, right? To kind of answer the video that I'm proposing here, I am fine with it having a small cast and us having kind of an idea of who Ghostface is, right? Could there be a twist? Could there be something where they're all Ghostface, ha 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 ha, right? Like, or something crazy where it's like, it's not the, like, I don't want it to be something to where it's, like they try to do it with some of the other Screams, like Scream 2, right? Scream 3, where the killers basically were in the movie for like 2 minutes, and then, like, you didn't see him again until the end. But, like I've said, Mickey had the potential to be the best, like, far and away the best Ghostface by a landslide. And we just didn't get to see him. So, like, by the time he came around and came back, it was like, who? Like, what? Right? And it's just, I hope that they don't go that route, right? I'd rather the killer be somebody that is, like, in the thick of the movie and we see regularly and, kind of, I don't know. Well, this is supposed to be the beginning of a trilogy, so maybe it's something to where you don't know who the killers are and they just kind of set it up and then you'll reveal it as the next movie and so on progress. It's a possibility, but I hope that they don't go that route again. I really don't. I hope that that's not where their heads are at or what direction they want to go. But nonetheless, you look at kind of like these last Scream movies, right? Like 5 minutes into the movie, you knew Detective Bailey was going to be the killer, right? Like, I mean, he just constantly said stuff that you were like, all right, this guy's the killer. And then like Quinn, you didn't see the death and stuff, so that's always something you got to keep in the back of your mind of like, okay, so that was probably a fake death, right? Like, it's just the big twist was like the brother, right? Like, but even then, it's just like you basically knew or had an idea. Amber and Richie were literally spoiled in the trailer, right? Because you saw Melissa Barrera's character Sam literally stabbing and going to town on Richie. So either Sam was the killer, but she's the main character. So unless they're doing a Jill 2.0, right, it has to be Richie. Because why else would she just like brutally attack her sister or her boyfriend? Sorry, right? And then Amber is literally lit on fire while Gail and Sydney are standing around watching it. Right? Like, again, why would that happen unless she was the killer? It's just, and it wasn't like she was outside, like running out. Like, no, she was like in the kitchen, right? Like, again, like you knew pretty much immediately who the killers were, and so, and yet it still had success. People still enjoyed it. People, I worried about the storytelling. To me, it's more about like how is Ghostface in the movie? Right? And what I mean by that is like, how are the kills? Is it the darker tone? Like, one of the things that I think Scream 5 and 6 has really gotten right is just the darker elements of Scream. Right? I think that they've done a really good job of like, a more brutal killer, more dark killer, right? Not as clumsy, not as goofy, right? Like, it's one of the things that, like, even in Scary Movie they made fun of, right? Because it was kind of like comical, right? Ghostface just constantly falling over themselves and stuff. At the end of the day, I just want a good quality movie, right? The Whodunit element, I just don't think at this stage Scream 7 is that big of a deal. Like, how big of a surprise can they make the killer reveal, right? I'm not saying that I don't want them to try, right? Like, I'm not saying don't, like, just like from the opening jump, although I think there is an argument of like, having a killer be revealed in the beginning, but I think you still need to try to have some type of mystery to it. But I mean, again, it's the 7th installment. How many different ways? Like, unless they do a movie with like 30 new characters, but then the problem with that is it's just like, then you just get too convoluted and there's too many characters you need to hit on and characters that an audience needs to buy into and yada yada. It just, I think it's okay for me personally. But not everyone's like that, and that's why, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think, like, no, you have to know who Ghostface is, otherwise that's a real problem? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.